talk to me about the expansion of the business. So you've grown to you said 7,000
Yep.
users now, and then you decided to add on the factoring piece, right? Well, not then. Now you have that, but as you built Bulk Loads, you added on the factoring. So talk about Smart Freight funding and how that kind of came into play.
Yeah, so Bulk Loads, again, 2011 we started that, and it was interesting when I worked at Bartlett Grain as a shipper. I had to approve all these freight bills, and a lot of times I'd get these. Well, not a lot of times. Some of these freight bills I'd get, it would be from it'd be from a factoring company, that the carrier was signed up with, and I'd be looking at this and I'd be like, why are these guys factoring these loads? It'd be an NOA is what I was wanting to say. It'd be an NOA that they signed over the receivable to pay to this factoring company. Well, Bartlett I work for, we were paying next day. I mean, if a trucker walked in with an invoice, we could literally take them to our accounts payable, and she would write a check. And I started looking at that time, and this was again 2000, early 2000s. Some of these factoring companies, they were charging 8, 9, 10% of these invoices. Wow. And I even called the trucker. I was like, buddy, dude, I can get you paid without paying this 10%. I mean, that's your margin. He's like, I know, but I signed this, and I have to send all my receivables to them. And I'm just like, so I say all that. It's like, dude, I hated factoring companies. I know hate's a strong word. I extremely dislike, because like, dude, I wanted these guys to survive. I want to make money. So I fast forward. We start Bulk Loads. Well, on Bulk Loads, a lot of these truckers, after they got set up, they're, man, Jared, we're finding these loads, we're hauling for these companies, but some of these companies, they're net 30 plus days. I got to get paid quicker. Who would you recommend to factor? So at that time, and there was a couple of factoring companies that I probably, I wouldn't say I didn't hate, maybe I disliked them, but not as bad. But I started referring to a couple of these other factoring companies. So fast forward, we kept talking, and I'm like, why are we sending these guys to these other factoring companies? Why don't we try to do this ourselves?
Right.
I was still running Bulk Loads, but I said, if we could find somebody else that could help us start that business unit. So that's how Smart Freight, we started that in 2014. There's another partner, Rachel Biesterfeld is her name, but she comes from, actually we worked together at Bartlett Grain.
Okay.
So that's how I knew her, but she's a payroll, accountant type person. So she was the one that came on, and we started Smart Freight Funding. And but yeah, we just even if you look at our advertising today on Smart Freighting, the top says we hate factoring companies. That's why we became one. I mean, and it's true. But the cool thing is, I said about that driver that when I was at Bartlett, one thing that we do at Smart Freight. And I'm sure other factoring companies have probably caught on today, but like, number one, we don't make these guys sign contracts.